Have you ever heard a story so powerful that even after it ended, the world never returned to what it used to be? A story about a single idea, born in a small, ordinary room, that grew so big it shook an entire global industry to its core. Today, we're uncovering one of the most important internet stories ever told. A story filled with creativity, rebellion, chaos, and a twist that almost nobody knows. It's the story of a quiet genius, a kid who never expected fame, never asked for attention, and yet accidentally started a revolution that would change how the world listens to music forever. So sit back, because you're about to witness how one idea, one line of code, and one young mind sparked a digital wildfire that could never be put out. This is the story of Napster. Our story begins in the late 1990s, a time when the internet felt more like an experiment than a part of everyday life. Web pages loaded one slow line at a time. Most homes didn't even have a computer, and downloading a single image could take minutes, sometimes hours. It was the digital equivalent of the Wild West, messy, uncertain, and full of possibility. But in the middle of all that noise, one young man saw something different. While everyone else saw a confusing, unfinished technology, he saw a doorway to the future. His name was Sean Fanning. Sean wasn't a business expert. He wasn't a tech CEO. He wasn't trying to build an empire. He was just a quiet, introverted 21-year-old college dropout who spent more time coding than sleeping. But he had a gift, the ability to look at the internet not for what it was, but for what it could become. And what bothered him most was how impossibly hard it was to find music online. Songs were scattered everywhere, broken links, shady websites, endless frustration. So one night, in his uncle's small bedroom, surrounded by old computer parts, he began writing code. Simple at first, then smarter, faster, more connected. Piece by piece, he built a program that allowed people to share music directly with each other. No record stores, no corporations, no barriers. A program so simple, yet so revolutionary, it would change everything. He called it Napster. And though Sean couldn't possibly know it yet, that quiet moment, typing alone in a cramped room, was the spark that would ignite one of the biggest digital explosions the world had ever seen. When Napster finally went live, something unbelievable happened. Something even Sean himself never expected. At first, it spread quietly, almost secretly. A few college students downloaded it. Then a few more. And then, like a spark landing in dry grass, it ignited. Within weeks, campus after campus lit up with activity. Dorm rooms became miniature music hubs. Students who barely talked to each other were suddenly sharing playlists, swapping songs, and discovering new artists faster than radio stations could play them. Downloads didn't just grow, they exploded. Thousands per hour, then millions per day. Napster wasn't just popular. It was a cultural shockwave. Teenagers felt like they had unlocked a secret world. For the first time ever, music wasn't controlled by record stores or giant corporations. It was in the hands of everyday people, shared freely, instantly, and globally. And at the center of this lightning storm was Sean Fanning, a shy 21-year-old who suddenly found himself on magazine covers, interviewed by reporters, and followed around by investors desperate to buy into the revolution. He wasn't trying to become famous. He didn't want the spotlight. But Napster was no longer just a piece of software. It had become a movement that terrified the music industry, because for the first time in history, the power shifted from the corporations to the people, and that kind of power shift always comes with consequences. In the year 2000, the storm hit. Record labels, furious at losing control over their music, launched lawsuits worth billions of dollars. They weren't just fighting a program, they were defending an empire built over decades. Television cameras captured celebrities pointing fingers, accusing Napster users of stealing music. Headlines screamed across newspapers and websites alike, "Napster under fire, the death of music as we know it." And there, In the eye of the storm was Sean Fanning, a 21-year-old programmer. Shy, hoodie-wearing, a young man who had only wanted to share something he loved, music. The pressure was unimaginable. Corporations had armies of lawyers. Napster had a dream, but dreams don't survive in courtrooms. By 2001, a judge issued the order that would change everything. Napster had to shut down. Just like that, the platform that had transformed the music industry vanished. Millions of users disappeared overnight. Chats, playlists, downloads, all gone. And Sean, once celebrated as a genius, he suddenly became invisible. One day, he was the face of the internet revolution. The next day, almost nobody remembered his name. It was a harsh reminder of the cost of challenging the system. Yet, even in that silence, the spark of change had already been lit. Sean Fanning's story leaves us with a powerful lesson. One that goes far beyond music, beyond apps, beyond the internet. Sometimes the world isn't ready for your idea. Sometimes your dream is bigger than the moment you're in. Pause, softer tone. Napster didn't survive the legal battles. Sean didn't become the richest or the most famous. Yet look at what he left behind. A blueprint for a revolution. A spark that ignited the streaming era. A world where anyone, anywhere, can access music instantly. Pause, slightly dramatic tone. It's a reminder that impact doesn't always come with applause or headlines. Sometimes it comes quietly years later when others take your idea and build on it. Your ideas, no matter how small, no matter how impossible they seem, can change lives. They can shape industries. They can inspire generations. Pause, reflective tone. Sean's lesson is clear. You don't need to win today to leave a mark tomorrow. You don't need fame to make history. Great ideas. Sometimes the world catches up long after they are born. And sometimes the greatest victories are invisible at first. Hit like and subscribe for more powerful in their true stories that reveal the hidden lessons inspirational behind the world's biggest moments. So remember, dream boldly. Great ideas never truly die. Share your vision, evolve, even if the world doesn't understand it yet. Because one day your spark might light the path for millions. Sean's story teaches us something profound. You don't need to win to leave a mark. You don't need fame to change the world. Sometimes, the greatest victories are invisible at first. Sometimes, they happen after the story seems over. Napster may have died, but the revolution it started reshaped music forever. Your ideas, no matter how small, no matter who doubts them, can become the foundation for something future generations will depend on.